Today's tube is full to bursting.
We can't physically cope with the amount of people that we carry.
Madam, come to me! That's it, come on, home sweet home.
And the underground staff are flat out,
Go home!
dealing with us.
A 10-pint of lager day.
I just seen the person squatting and like...
For the 20,000 people who keep the tube running,
International rescue.
every day brings new challenges.
We are a mobile Swiss Army knife.
And passenger problems
Excuse me, sir. Ticket inspector. Yeah, but it's not a free service on the underground, is it?
that could bring the tube to a halt.
Chaos, chaos, chaos.
Everything running smoothly has now gone the opposite route. See, just like that.
Until I get a shout, I'm going to stand here and just look pretty in front of my public. Just open the gate.
Chaotic as always.
So this year, it's all change on the world's oldest underground.
This could be the future. This could be the revolution. Join the revolution, everybody.
But for the tube's long-suffering workers, it's more than a job.
It feels like home, just like family. Sometimes we love each other, sometimes we don't.
This way out. This way. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm a parent, and they're my children.
Mate, mate!
This is their story.
We cope, because that's what we do. We cope.
This time on the tube, the underground is preparing for a new level of threats.
The next time this happens, it won't be in a power station in Dartford, it'll be in for real.
And to face the future and its uncertain challenges, the tube is taking on thousands of new staff.
What we're looking for sticking out? Wires. With any powder in that, what would that suggest to us it could be?
Explosives.
Its staff have to prepare for the unexpected.
Caucasian male being pro-ISIS and wanting to blow up trains. I've always been told that it's probably imminent that something is going to happen again on the underground.
Or it could happen again. But then there's lightning striking the same place twice.
It's November. Northern Line Duty Reliability Manager, Mark, is always on the alert for suspect packages.
Oh, hi, it's Mark. What was that about Platform 1, Tony? Car.
After the Paris and Brussels attacks, tube security is at its highest ever level.
OK, what we've got, car 4 on this train, or the next train. There's a sports bag, a grey sports bag. It's either unattended or gone missing. So we're just going to have a quick look for it.
All reports are taken very seriously. For staff, it's all about responding in a calm but systematic way.
When you hear that there's an unattended bag, you look at something and you get a gut feeling whether it is really suspicious. Right, it's a car full, what is it, an unattended bag?
Allegedly. A grey bag.
A grey bag, OK.
When I usually walk up and down platforms now, I'll be looking. Just anything about, do I need to be worried about anything? You know, is it summertime? Is there a guy with a long trench coat? Should I be checking you out?
It's rarer now for unattended bags to be left. But when they are, they're treated with far more suspicion.
Hi folks, is anybody reported an unattended bag? Anybody know? No unattended bags? No, OK. Obviously an unattended bag's going to frighten people. They're going to think, oh, is it a bomb, is it a bomb? No unattended bags in here or anything? No, I'm sure somebody would have shouted by now. Since the bombings in London, I would say we probably get less unattended bags now because people are more aware of unattended bag could mean bomb.
The tube is no stranger to terror. It was bombed in July 2005, killing 52 and injuring over 700 people. It was a traumatic event that changed the culture of the tube. Now all staff are trained to face the threat of terror. but they can never be complacent.
Because of what's happened, we've got a lot more firearms police on the stations.
It's definitely something you think about, though, especially at work. You do think, oh, you know, what if it comes to your station? What if it happens at your station?
I'll be lying if I said I didn't think about it every time I come to work. I'll be lying if I said I didn't think about it every time I have to go to attend to an unattended bag or suitcase.
In this new and more dangerous world, the Tube is taking on over 1,000 new customer service assistants to be the eyes and ears of the underground. Graduate Alice is one of them.
I've only heard good stuff about it. I've got a couple of friends who's either they or family have worked for Transport for London, and they've all said that it's quite a good company to work for.
My dad is a train operations manager, and he's been on here for 28 years now. So, yeah, I've got to basically live up to what he's done, so I feel like I'm here now and I'm part of the family, so therefore I know if I don't do well, I'll just get kicked up the arse with my dad. Oh, sorry.
Competition for places is fierce. For each one of these jobs, 56 people applied. Trainer Linda has 5 weeks to coach them.
Caterpillars waiting to come out of their cocoon and become butterflies, hopefully. Beautiful coloured wings. By the time we'll be finished with them, they'll hopefully be able to go out there and spread their wings and be good customer service assistants.
7:30 a.m. at Bank Station. In the middle of the city, it's one of the busiest stations on the network. So it's an ideal proving ground for newbies, like customer service assistant Naeem, who's halfway through his 6 months probationary period.
You come in thinking, yes, it's going to be a nice, quiet day, and then bam, before you know it, something's gone on.
Where's the better?
To be honest, it's generally around the middle of the train, but it's anyone's bet at the moment.
His job, letting the control room know of potential problems, while keeping passengers safely moving on and off the trains.
I mean, these trains are full. Does that help with the congestion? They've definitely thrown me in the deep end in this station. It's a very big station, so in total about 380,000 passengers every single day.
How's it hanging, man?
It takes a cool hand to run a station as busy as Bank.
Hey, who wants a custard donut?
Keeping a watchful eye on Naeem is controller Pat. He knows just what it takes to deal with a Monday morning rush hour.
It's good custard, man. I can assure you.
And Bank isn't like any other tube station. It's a monster. Here, the busy Central, Northern and DLR lines all meet.
So this place, this complex, the demand outweighs the space. So we have to do various little juggling acts to keep this place open. Most places operate to a 75% capacity. We work to well beyond, well past 90. So we have to do several little things just to keep this place going. If we don't, we get phone calls from the mayor's office and everybody, banks, everybody. What's going on?
The city, as London's financial hub, has frequently been the target of terrorists. And at its heart is Bank Station. But the immediate problem for Naeem is all about numbers.
Not a good time to be claustrophobic, but let's see how it goes. You kind of have to be confident and be assertive around this time, because a lot of passengers, instead of listening to orders and things like that, they tend to do what they want to do, and it just makes our lives a little bit more difficult.
It's the go-to time. This is the time we get the maximum amount of people. It can be a bit manic, but we're already starting to have a problem on the eastbound Central line between Stratford and Leighton, and we got rainfall, which don't make it easy. Get some oats down my neck.
A signal failure on the Central line is delaying the service.
Train's holding on platform 6.
How long has it been there?
It's been there for about 3 or 4 minutes now.
3 or 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, this is the part they call trouble. We have to hold and maintain. If we don't, it's chaos.
And chaos at Bank means trouble down the line.
We shut down the square mile now on, would you say, Lawrence? London Bridge, Liverpool Street, St Paul's, even as far away as Holborn.
And when the tube gridlock spreads to the junction with the Piccadilly line, warning signals are triggered. The line control room at Earl's Court is on constant alert. But sometimes it's a passenger who's the problem.
09, guy's being abusive,
Do we have a description?
terrorism and ISIS.
Yeah, do we... Andy, car 609 on train 240. What carriage is that? Thank you. Unfortunately, we've got nothing to work on at the moment, just an abusive male on the westbound train.
We'll let the BTP know. Thank you. Okay, there's quite a few passengers that have come forward quite frightened. Caucasian male, dark red shirt, shouting about being pro-ISIS and wanting to blow up trains. He's very abusive and he is threatening.
Coming up, new security routines.
Hot procedure. What's T?
Typical.
Typical.
Oh, I'm not doing this one.
First night nerves
Please allow customers off the train before getting on and mind the yellow lines.
Move back a little bit.
and nightmare scenarios.
With terrorism, we're constantly on a high alert.
A serious incident alarm's been raised on the Piccadilly line. A man's been threatening passengers and claiming he's pro-ISIS.
Lovely, thank you. Bye. We just had a report from a supervisor at Green Park that there's an abusive male on a westbound train shouting all sorts of profanities about terrorism, about blowing up trains and stuff like that. So obviously we take these sort of things seriously.
Dealing with terror alerts is one of the prime responsibilities of Central Control.
Green operating officer.
As far back as 1883, the Irish Republican Brotherhood bombed the Underground, injuring 70 people. Now, instead of the IRA or Al-Qaeda, the latest terror threat comes from the so-called Islamic State.
The events in Paris have certainly changed our thinking in terms of what we've deployed. We've got assets in place to respond effectively and very quickly if an unthinkable incident happens.
We're trying to see if we can get some British Transport Police officers to go and meet the train down at Earl's Court so we can get this person dealt with as soon as possible. Because obviously if you're a customer on a train... Sorry? Car 5. Car 5. So it's car 5 that he's on. Earl's Court, 45812. Oh yeah, we've had several reports. My colleague's just spoken to you about a male on a westbound train. So we're going to hold the train on the westbound. If you can get that PCSO to check. I can see him on the platform. So he's a white male in a red shirt. Yep, thank you. Bye. I'm pretty sure if he's been spewing all these profanities that there will be other customers quite frightened to say this is the man. We've got the BTP down at the bottom end of the train, so they'll be starting at car 5, which was the original information we were given. So all them customers potentially now are delayed until we get this guy off.
These serious security alerts are still thankfully rare, but the team must remain constantly vigilant.
You've got to remember we've got to keep the service moving. So if someone needs to be taken off the train, they have to be in place very efficiently, very quickly, because we could have trains behind in the tunnels. They could have thousands of people on them, and we need to keep the service moving.
So what we're trying to do is get him off, but also it's all about safety. So if you're a passenger sitting with someone on the train that's threatening all sorts of terrorism and stuff like that, it's very frightening. And as you can see, Cheryl got several calls there, we got several calls.
It's scary. It's a scary situation to be in because you can't really do anything from here apart from get resources into the right place, people in the right place. But after that, you're actually watching, it's almost like a drama on television, you know, you're watching something unravel and it's real time. But what can you do? You have to just get on with it.
It turned out the suspect wasn't carrying weapons or explosives, but he had caused panic.
Members of the public are a lot more alert and a lot more aware and not frightened to actually come forward and say, look, this is going on down there. And I felt so unsafe that I got off the train. And that's what happened there. The female got off the train and reported it because she felt unsafe.
Charlotte is responsible for the safety of over 500,000 passengers daily and 78 trains. But it's the drivers who are right at the sharp end.
The scary thing is when something goes wrong. Will I be able to act quickly enough? Will I remember to do everything that I can?
54-year-old customer service assistant, Danuta, has set herself the challenge of becoming a train driver.
I enjoyed being a CSA. I enjoyed the group I was working in, really liked it. But with the changes that are happening, there wasn't much movement that I could do for a few years yet. So I thought I'd try for train driving. My friends and family are quite impressed, really. Happy for me, and a lot of people seem quite surprised. I think it's just having another change of career, really, at my age. Some people say that it's not what they would do.
Danuta's already passed the first hurdle and been selected from over 6,000 applicants to begin a 14-week intensive training course.
I just didn't realise the full extent of what you needed to know to do a train driver's job. If you look at the ones that do it, they make it look very easy.
First time I ever got on the front of a train, it's just like a little kid in the candy shop, just so excited.
Mark started working for the Tube in 2012.
Sort of joined a job to become a train driver. I really wanted to drive trains. That's what it was all about for me. Just absolutely loved it from day one. In May next year, it'll actually be 4 years on the handle. I wouldn't believe it had been 4 years.
With Christmas approaching and more bags and parcels being carried, the Tube's 5,000 station staff are constantly making checks.
Do the walk around, yeah?
Southwark Station, with just over 14 million passengers a year, keeps Barry very busy.
I'm actually doing a station check to make sure there are no objects left, no suspect packages. Then making sure everything is just in place, nothing is hidden anywhere that it shouldn't be hidden.
After 18 years of service, he's become an expert at spotting unattended bags.
Basically, your name goes down against what the check is, so God forbid anything did get found, it comes down to me and quite serious. So that's how serious I take it.
Security checks are also the perfect time to make sure all systems are go.
I'm happy all those gates are correct and are working. I'm happy security checks have been done. I'm happy all the POMs are working. So that now is the check done. Whiskey 4 to Scroll 1. 7 o'clock main gate checks, nothing to report, over.
From the bombings 7/7, you know, it was a massive eye-opener for people, and members of the public are much more aware of what's going on, much more alert. They actually feel so frightened that they actually want to say something, and that is the society that we live in. You go back, 15 years ago, it was something that never happened. Now it's a regular occurrence. We're constantly on a high alert here. We've always been told that it's probably imminent that something is going to happen again on the underground.
It's into this high alert environment that the trainee CSAs will be thrust.
I'm doing my security check. Oh dear. What am I doing?
They have to start with the basics.
What am I doing first?
Checking.
And what do you think I'm checking for? Is it hidden? Is it hidden first?
No. But you're checking to see if anything's suspicious, ticking.
So we start with the hidden. Is it hidden?
No.
No. So what's the next thing?
Checking for anything suspicious,
Anything,
like wires.
is it obviously suspicious?
Yeah.
Because if that's all closed up and just looking like that, it just looks like a backpack, doesn't it? We always say, what we listening for?
Ticking.
What we looking for sticking out?
Wires.
And what about any powder and that? What would that suggest to us it could be?
Explosives.
So explosives and some kind of chemical?
Anthrax.
Yeah. Biological? Yeah. So, what do I do with any customers round about?
Marshal them away.
How far? Off the platform.
Off the platform.
I would say it's supposed to be 100 metres, you're quite right. I would take them off the platform. Do I want them on the platform?
No.
Being closeted in a classroom might not seem very realistic. But it's Linda's first-hand experience that counts.
One thing, some of our customers don't like being evacuated. One thing that they're very, very good at, evacuation, is when you say security alert. Because what do you think's in their head? What do they remember?
Run.
7/7. That's what they think. 7/7, I don't want to be caught up in that. Because we're always on the alert. Because they tell us all the time that there will be another one.
You're all right.
Someone left this on the train at London Bridge.
OK. OK, thank you very much. We're roughly, what, on the...
London Bridge.
On the Jubilee, on one of the carriages, yeah? Yeah. So, you just come off it, effectively? No one owned up to it?
I thought I'd
Right.
walk off.
OK, OK.
Is that all right?
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.
Unattended bags are a regular concern for Barry,
I now turn my radio off.
as they are more and more for every station assistant.
Passenger a little while ago said to me, like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you went over to that bag that was unattended and checked it and to make sure it wasn't anything suspicious. And it wasn't until he said that I kind of thought about it and thought, oh, do you know what? Actually, he's right, that could have been anything.
I will look in just, it's obvious it's been left, but just in case, obviously look inside. Nothing there that shouldn't be in there, so i.e. it's a safe bag. I turned off my radio just in case anything was in there that may possibly set anything off electrically in there. Whiskey 4 to Scryer 1.
Negotiating the networks that make up the tube involves learning a whole new language.
2000 hours, the Delta Echo check, please. Over.
And that's first lesson in week 2 for the trainees.
How many abbreviations and acronyms have you come across already? So many. We're aiming for 7,684,000. That's what the aim is, but we're working towards that. Somebody tell me an acronym that they've found out.
VCC.
Right, what's the VCC?
Damn!
Well, you know, I've asked
Vehicle. Something computers. Vehicle controlled.
Control center. Vehicle control center.
That's the month.
There's no registered SATs. Station Assistant Train Services, I believe.
A NERM is a network incident reliability manager. That's straight from a manager's mouth. You see what I'm saying?
For everyone, including DRM or Duty Reliability Manager Mark, there's always one acronym too many.
The way the hot procedure works is it hidden? So, you know, has somebody found it hidden behind something? Is it obviously lost property? And now you've got me on camera, I can't remember what T is, but it'll come to me. What's T in hot? Sorry? Hot procedure, what's T? Typical. Typical. Is it typical of lost property? There you go.
Mark's job as a reliability manager is to keep the service running smoothly, including minimising delays from security alerts.
If you were worried about it, you couldn't do the job. And you wouldn't, I don't think you would do the job. You'd lie awake at night worrying about things. And I don't.
We've had specific advice what to do in case of something like a Paris attack, but at the moment I'm not prepared to share that with you. But I will tell you what it is, and that is run away.
Coming up, testing times.
As soon as I get put under pressure about this bloody stuff, I just fall apart.
Please stand clear.
A tour de force.
Would you find it amusing if I sang Jackie Wilson up down the platform?
And train crash trauma.
Body count at the moment, according to the mortuary, is 55.
The Tube is one of those institutions that seems to attract a loyal staff, not easily intimidated by either its size or demands. Piccadilly Line controller Charlotte joined just a week after the 2005 Tube bombings.
My actual family, they didn't want me to join the Underground after that, being such a serious incident. And when we started, I think there was only half the class turned up because the rest of them, obviously, I think, were scared off by what had happened. And then when I was reading all the reports at the time, it was a lot how much the staff did and the staff helped. And I think it's in you. I think you've got that fight or flight kind of mode.
Train driver Mark wasn't going to be terrorised either. 2 weeks after the 7/7 London bombings, the London transport system was targeted again. At the time, Mark was driving a number 26 bus.
When the device went, or say when a detonator went, the sound it made, the bang it made, was pretty much as if the whole device had gone off. It was that loud.
It was 1:30 p.m, and reports were coming in of 3 other explosions at tube stations.
So I just said, ladies and gents, it appears we've got a mechanical problem. Going to drive the bus round to the next stop. Going to ask you all to leave the bus.
With his passengers safe, Mark made his way to the top deck.
And there was a sort of, it was like a metallic-y smell. And as I got to the very last row, I looked down to the right-hand side at the bottom, and I could see a rucksack there. It looked as if it had been ripped open. And it was like a Tupperware tub with this yellowy substance sort of oozing outside of it. And just instantly, at that point there, I just knew that that was a bomb. And I just calmly walked away, walked down the stairs, didn't run, just walked down the stairs, got on the phone, 999. Within 40 seconds, the whole area was just swarming with police and activity and helicopters above. And then it was just a blur from that moment onwards, right up until the point of where I got home that evening. And my daughter was sitting there, and she was only 6 at the time, and my wife was there. And I just sat down there, just looked at my wife, she looked at me, and I just lost it. I just absolutely burst into tears. Because I think you sit down and you see the people, the nearest and dearest, who potentially could have been fatherless or could have been made a widow. And that was the overriding moment for me then. I was thinking, no, I'm not going to let this beat me.
Mark carried on driving buses before retraining to become a tube driver.
You could argue the point that perhaps things happen for a reason, perhaps that did happen for a reason, and this is ultimately where I've ended up to what I want to do today.
But with the Underground facing new terrorist threats, its 20,000 staff are on high alert.
Could happen again. But then, does lightning strike in the same place twice? Could I be that unlucky? Would I approach it in exactly the same way as last time? Absolutely I would. Look after your passengers first, then deal with the situation you've got to deal with on hand.
It's December, and rookie driver Danuta has safely negotiated her way through 2/3 of her training. Now instructor Chris is working on removing any rough edges and turning her into a smooth operator.
So it's quite a test when we have these grey, drizzly days to keep the train under control when we're coming to stations, but you're doing very well, Danuta. Keep it up. So good approach into Oakwood. On a downhill gradient, so we are picking up speed. Also have a bit of a greasy rail.
I'm going to start.
But we've got a little bit of cover here as the bridge.
Oh, so just wait till the cover to
Nice bit of
break.
dry track, yeah. I'll get
Yeah.
a, you know,
Okay,
half decent brake application on there. Inherently, Danuta is quite anxious. As long as she doesn't work herself up, I think she'll be all right. She needs to keep a calm, clear head. I know she's got the knowledge inside her. She doesn't want to have a little setback which might trigger a further disaster somewhere down the line.
Another challenge is that the Piccadilly Line's trains are all manually operated.
Nice steady approach. That's wonderful.
It's week 4 of the rookies' training. They're being let loose on the platforms for the first time.
The only downside with these is, what do you think?
And today's lesson is about finding the voice.
A bit of practice, you'll develop your own style.
Alice is facing her first platform announcements.
Oh, I'm not doing this one. I'm not doing this one. I've only just got given it. Do I need to do this one?
It's all about keeping passengers informed
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hammersmith line via
while instilling confidence.
to Hammersmith. Please allow customers off the train before getting on and mind the yellow lines.
Move back a little bit.
It's an intimidating enough location for a debut, especially when there's a judge to impress.
It's good. What I'd say is, remember this is your platform, yeah? You're in charge. Try and be assertive, yeah? And people will listen to you, especially when it's busy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please change here for the Northern...
First time you do SATs, you feel very self-conscious, you start to speak very fast, and you start to speak totally incoherently. Then you remember, if you slow it down, it'll make more sense. When I was a Catholic altar boy, you had to do the readings, and to stand up there and face a crowd was horrendous to me. And To think I've gone from that to what I'm doing here, it's just like second nature now.
After a lifetime of service on the tube, the voice of Southwark is giving his very last performance. Barry is about to retire.
Welcome to Southwark. Please exit the change at both ends of the platform, Blackfriars Road and Waterloo East services. Please move inside to Wembley Park, now ready to depart. Please stand clear of the closing doors. Please stand clear.
But a big personality with a mic can be a dangerous combination.
There's like a rebellious evil part where you're tempted to do kind of the best of Whitney Houston up and down the platform, but you know you have to keep it disciplined. I love the sound of your voice is the bottom line. Jackie Wilson's higher and higher. I defy anyone to sit at a wedding or go anywhere and hear that tune and not get up and dance. It would be, I'm sure, very entertaining to the passengers. Some will find it amusing, some probably would not find it amusing. Would you find it amusing if I sang Jackie Wilson up and down the platform? Yeah, but the second or third time, no. No, fair enough, that's fair enough.
Still developing his repertoire is Naeem, the voice of Bank.
Right, never used this before. Right, what do I do?
Naeem's not quite got the vocal range yet,
What do I use this?
especially when confronted by an unfamiliar sound system.
Ah, got it. Customers on platform 6, please be aware there will be no trains running from this station. Once again, customers on platform 6, please be aware.
What makes a good CSA? Ooh, that's like asking somebody what makes a good human being. Because we are talking human beings here, aren't we? It's a case of being sharp, being aware of the atmosphere around him, reading body language, hear himself remaining neutral. You gotta be decent. Bit of integrity, then you're good.
Please mind the gap when boarding an alighting train. Once again, please mind
I think
the
he's a
gap.
good lad. He's one of those who will go the extra mile for you, and I could see that from day one, the first day he walked in here. So, as far as I'm concerned, plus is all around. Good kid.
Come back and check up on me, yeah? See if I'm still alive.
Naeem's a step closer to joining the Tube family. Back down the line, time's up for the wannabe customer service assistants.
Which of the following defines the track?
Joining the Tube now all depends on the exam they're about to sit today.
I still remember how I felt when I did it. You just don't sleep, you feel nauseous.
I'm a little bit nervous because I'm not completely sure on all the answers, but I think I'm all right.
They've got 75 minutes to answer 40 multiple-choice questions on everything from tube security to emergency alerts.
Obviously, control feed lost.
Danuta is struggling with the theory side of the test.
It's not going to work, no.
So
Now,
that's
you
only
can
on the full-speed
override the
MCB,
slow
not-
speed MCB.
There are lots of switches, fuses and circuits to take in.
Using the slow speed limit cutout switch.
Yeah.
Right, but that's only when you've lost your full speed. So
MCB, not on the round the train.
Not on the round the train.
Okay, right. So I am on slow speed and at half
Yeah.
motors.
Yeah.
As soon as I get put under pressure about this bloody stock, I just fall apart. Can't do it.
Some of the trainees that we get through are born for the job.
Remember it.
There are some, it's a little bit of a struggle. I think Danuta fits into that category. She's a little bit older than most of the trainees that we get. Maybe she just finds it a little bit more difficult to adjust from where she was maybe on the stations.
I've got a day off tomorrow. I'm going to be studying it all day. I need to have it just in my head. Just want it over and done with, really.
Drivers need to get at least 80% to pass, and the course is not something any of them are likely to forget.
I just went in the training. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about in terms of sleepers and points. I thought, I don't even know what you're talking about here. So it was a massive learning curve for me. And I just got my head down and spent nights studying and just said to like my wife and daughter, I said, you really need to just leave me alone for the next 4 to 8 weeks. Just get me through this course. And lucky enough, I passed all the courses, all the exams.
Mark made the grade, but will the trainees be as lucky? For trainer Linda, it's a stressful time. After 5 weeks of instruction, she's about to deliver Alice and the trainees' final results.
I've never seen a group that was so confident, not overly confident, but confident, suddenly disappear into this quivering mess. It was awful. Oh my goodness. Right, guys. Hope you've been talking.
Yes.
So you'll know that some of you got some questions wrong then. You want to know how you did? Shall I tell you the ones who passed first and the ones who didn't pass? No, guys, you all passed. Well done.
So relieved. So relieved.
They're a lovely bunch. They're a really lovely bunch of people. I'll most probably will have a little tea later on. Yeah, they're all going to waddle off and do their own little waddling now on their own now without following me and Jeff about.
These new CSAs have just qualified for a tube that is very different from the one Linda joined. It faces new threats, and it knows it can never let its guard down. Ever since the 7/7 bombings, the tube and the emergency services have been refining the way they respond to incidents of this scale. Now, for the first time ever, the tube is preparing to test its staff in tandem with the other European emergency services to see how they'll cope when faced with the biggest and most complex simulation in the tube's history.
There's 150 plus people on this train, so getting through those people to get to there is going to be extremely difficult.
A tower block has collapsed onto Waterloo Tube Station, crushing an 8-car tube train, recreating a natural disaster or an act of terrorism.
I'm just getting an update that he might have found a quicker route from the left of the train.
Rupert from the tube's network incident response team is coordinating with the other services.
I understand there might be some fatalities under the train. I can see a fire officer inside the train, but this is quite a challenging carriage for them because of the angle it's at.
More than 70 organisations are getting the chance to see how they work under pressure together in this dangerous environment.
It's not a fake train, it's not a cardboard train, it's real rubble, and actually it's dangerous because it's real. That's the whole point, you know. It's not a classroom-based exercise, this is real.
Which is why it's so valuable, to see if they've got the right equipment and people in place. Coming up, stressed out.
I don't think I'm taking anything in.
Saving lives.
There's about 120 casualties still stuck on this train.
And signing off.
Nice to see you. Are you? Good man, good man.
Behind the closed doors of an old power station in Dartford, on the edge of London, it's day 4 of a full-scale disaster scenario, designed to test London's readiness for a major incident.
We've currently got several bodies that we're recovering from the different sectors. We've got 3 teams working in there at the moment. Body count according to the mortuary is 55.
At the same time as trying to reach the last trapped casualties, the Rail Investigation Board also have to retrieve vital information.
It's a pretty difficult and hazardous route up, especially considering the number of casualties we've still got on the train. It looks like the driver is deceased, and also there's a data recorder in the cab, which is really key.
The train's black box could reveal whether it was a mechanical fault, a natural disaster, or a terrorist explosion that caused the devastation.
Ready to take his box?
This £1 million simulation is a realistic experience for each of the 2,000 individuals involved.
The next time this happens, it won't be in a power station in Dartford, it'll be in for real.
It's in this environment that the next generation of tube staff will prove themselves. Just weeks before Naeem's probationary period is over, he's looking more and more confident.
So just give me a second. Yeah, just come up here. go up and follow exit 2. Yeah, sure. Sorry, you're right there.
What's his first name? 90?
Naheem. Hey, that kid has so much energy. Damn. And he's doing a double shift today as well.
You know which way you're going?
He's a very people person. So people persons tend to go that little bit further.
Threadneedle Street. And Threadneedle Street will turn into Bishopsgate, yeah? Sure. Passenger incident at Chancery Lane. All we've heard is someone's on the track. Between Marble Arch to Liverpool Street, it's not running.
Another incident on the Central Line means there are no trains getting through.
Right, where's everyone going? Where do you want to go?
I go Mile End.
Mile End, yeah. Go to Liverpool Street from here, and then from there, just walk up Bishopsgate. You guys all right? You okay? Yeah?
Yeah, he's a really nice kid, man. He's a really nice kid. I reckon he's going to go far, that one.
It's never straightforward for you, is it?
No, it's not. That's what happens when you work at Bank Station. So, yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're right there.
Sorry, I think I just heard you say the train's on.
It's test day for trainee driver Danuta.
I'm feeling nervous, apprehensive, and excited. Yeah, I don't think I'm taking anything in, but I might as well use the time.
Everything she's learnt over the last 14 weeks is about to be scrutinised by her examiner. And in just 4 hours' time, she'll know whether she's done enough to pass. At Southwark Station, Barry's retiring. Even though it's his last day, he's not allowing his standards to drop.
I know the cleaners will be told if there's too many papers, etc. But it's just pride in my station. If you're going to work, the last thing you want to see is a tatty station. You'd rather see something that looks clean, gives you a good feel before you go to work. Morning. Very quickly to say, last day before I retire. Been a pleasure studying year 1 to 3. Been flogging year 1 to 3, a great pleasure. Thank you very much, mister.
There's just enough time to wish the next generation well.
How long you been here, Hum? You're training today. Well, I'm retiring. Best of bloody luck, my darling. And hope it goes well, yeah?
Hey, Barry.
I'm away.
Why are you retiring now, Barry?
I am indeed. I'm very well indeed. Nice to see you. Are you... Good man, good man.
But even for an old pro, saying goodbye is never easy.
It's just hitting me now, so it's beginning to hit me a bit. That I've done it. I've actually done it. We're on that route. We're on that route. Extraordinary. Quite extraordinary.
As one generation leaves, the next is getting ready to tackle the tube of the future. But has Danuta done enough to secure one of the coveted driver's jobs?
I think in the question and answer session, I think there was a danger that she was being shunted into the siding of despair, but somehow she managed to pull herself together and came back onto the main line of enlightenment.
I passed. How'd you feel? Great. Bit surprised. Gonna let me loose on a train. Thanks, Chris. For all your help.
I shall miss you.
No, you won't. What, like a hole in the head?
You're wasting one. No, it's been great. I mean, you stepped up to the plate. Well done. You did it.
Danuta has now joined the tube's elite crew of drivers.
Edit that, yeah? Beep.
Next time, the hidden army building the underground of the future.
Drop it!
A violent incident strands hundreds of late-night travellers.
There are no more eastbound trains.
And Christmas fever grips both staff and passengers.
Come on, baby!
Yeah, make sure you're here for the last in the series next Monday at 9. And we've another epic commute this week as Ben Fogle continues to follow the great African migration. Incredible landscapes, astonishing stories of survival, new on Friday at 9. Next tonight, Gordon's battle for survival, getting tougher in Gotham's terrifying lockup.